meteorologist Casey Cloud live here in the Weather Center right now with a weather update. No formal warning in play. We are kind of going against our rules here coming on with this. But this storm is very ferocious right now. This accident on Starke, Hampton, even extended into Alachua County as well. So we thought we needed to be on with you guys to try to protect you, your friends, and your family. I'm looking at my anemometer here right now. So we got a gust of 34 miles an hour just a few moments ago. That's the second highest gust there that we've had on that in the 2.5 years that we've had it or so. The highest there, I guess third highest, I should say second highest though, in terms of for an event, because the top two were during Nicole, I do believe. I'll have to double check, but that's just off the top of my mind there. Just as this has really come together in the last few moments here around Starke and Hampton and some of these other areas. I know this has to be causing power outages here. It's really ferocious, so you're not going to see much on our cameras. I'm not going to keep it up very long. I'll just put it in the corner for a moment. It's dark out there, but I know there's some lightning around that's just really in play. There's some vibrant flashes there that kind of tell the story. We're seeing frequent cloud-to-ground lightning. I know there's some other questions here. Other meteorologists kind of wondering if a warning is going to come into play here as I'm looking at chat 1.0 here. So again, just kind of an interesting situation coming together right now in Bradford County. I'm going to see if there's any trees down, because to get, I guess, to 34, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but our anemometer is only at 6 feet up, and that's pretty significant for that level here. So you're probably seeing gusts closer, I would say, probably in the 50 range here as you kind of get a little bit higher up there. If you had an anemometer maybe at 20 feet or something like that. That's just kind of guessing here on the fly, but just kind of to give you an indication here of what we're talking about. This is a ferocious storm, so make sure you're inside and away from windows here. Again, still no formal warning. It's tricky in these situations because on radar, the velocity didn't look quite as nasty as I think this storm actually has been towards Starke and Bradford County based on our observations here, and just kind of extrapolating some things out. So we needed to jump on. That's where we're at. Normally wouldn't do this, but this storm is having an impact. It's staying around here for at least a few more moments. Some of the heavier downpours. I think some of the strongest winds on that leading edge, but had them hanging around for a few moments there. Gusts quite a bit lower now, but still seeing some there. On our anemometer up to 3/4 of an inch of rain very quickly. So again, kind of breaking our policy here, coming on for a non-severe officially storm, but just kind of giving you guys the very latest on what's going on here to protect you, your friends, and your family. Looking at some of our different sources right now. Yeah, just I believe besides Nicole, we didn't have an event here where we had a gust any higher than an anemometer in the last 2.5 years. I'll have to dive into the data more later, but I was just looking back at a day that I had in mind. So this is a very ferocious storm for start. The worst of the wind maybe it's kind of on that leading edge, I'll say, but we'll kind of see it together. It's on that leading edge. I know you can see that better on some of the previous frames there. Yes, that's come on through. It's not even showing up that great in velocity in some ways, though, because the anemometer readings are quite a bit lower than what we had there out ahead. So a tricky situation. We needed to jump on here based on some of the information that we're seeing. Gonna go ahead and continue to check some things here. I didn't want to have to go on here unless we have an official warning, but I think we owe it here to the viewers to come on based on some of the things that we're seeing here with our observations. So I have a feeling we're going to have some trees down here across Bradford County from this, unfortunately, maybe into Clay County as well. So again, just checking some information right now. Significant weather advisory in play officially, but just some ferocious winds here coming through the last few minutes. Let me see if we have some other observations from around. I'm just kind of checking here to see what's going on, and we're not really seeing numbers here in the last few moments as high at the sheriff's office. Maybe they could have been before the previous here 10 minutes, but it looks like there's a report of a road obstruction now. A 17th Avenue and State Road 16th. That could be a tree or a power line. You just don't know at this point. But 17th Avenue and State Road 16, a report of a road obstruction. So That's just coming in right now. That's not too far away from where we're at, actually. I mean, the tree may have fallen there in this type of situation. So again, just continuing to watch things, continuing to monitor the situation. Uh, Here at about 8:36. No official warning here in play right now, but again, a report of road obstruction not too far away from our location, and then just here in Bradford County in general. So again, 17th Avenue and State Road 16. So that's coming in here, just being received by dispatch in the last 7 minutes or so, and they're dispatched to the scene 5 minutes ago. So we'll try to gather more information on that if we can. Again, a very ferocious storm coming through here, though. But you can't really, I mean, with anemometer is kind of that measurement tool, and you can listen, you can look at things, but getting that data here at that level, and we had some winds there hanging around pretty high for a few moments, maybe not quite as long as on Sunday night, but still, to get that type of gust here, I suspect that. Yeah, and we're getting reports now in the Facebook word of mouth group that on 16, State Road 16, right past 19th Avenue, a tree's completely blocking the road. It fell right in front of them. They're saying here in Facebook word of mouth, Dustin's saying that. So, again, we're checking. So that sounds like here, that's a 19th. So trying to kind of give you guys the latest here. That would seem to indicate maybe more than one tree down, possibly in the county here at this point. No official warning here in play, but we needed to come on here. This is moving into Clay County and the Camp Landing, probably getting into some of the worst of this. The velocity isn't doing the best job here with this. It seemed like it was indicating some stronger winds there, closer to the leading edge, so we had some boundaries come together and the like. So, tricky situation, but again, I know when we put things out on Facebook like gust to 40, generally our observations don't get close to that here at that level, only 6 feet up, but instead we got pretty close there, 34 miles an hour, which again, if you're watching around the region, that doesn't sound like a lot, but I suspect we had stronger winds than that here, just a little bit higher up in this type of pattern. And again, except for Nicole, I believe, that's going to be your highest wind observation day here since we've had that over the last 2.5 years. So that's why we felt we needed to come on all the warnings we've had over the years, and then except for a tropical cyclone, it's an anomaly. That's how things go. It's just tricky like that. It wasn't really clear on radar. That's how things are down here, it seems like. But things really coming together, so we need to jump on right now for this situation. No official warning here, but things that's coming together sometimes. They can strengthen real quick and then kind of fall back down. I think this complex might be weakening just a little bit here. Let me zoom back out. But again, looking here at some of our data, I want to check Ian here real quick. I know our highest gust from Ian here, it looks like, was 29 miles an hour. So again, it's exceeding that here. Those winds really got ferocious. Surprised we didn't lose power, but I didn't have the flickering quite like we had the other night. But just a situation here now we've got to be cognizant of, no doubt, as I go ahead and check if there's any questions from any of the viewers right now. I know Top Cat saying getting hammered here in Bradford, so again, it's kind of your storyline right now. The reports I'm getting in on Facebook word of mouth kind of suggesting that here right now, that we did have some damage. This was a damaging thunderstorm, not officially severe warned, and I hate to go against the weather service. I really do. Having to just go on like this. This is not how we want to have to do things, but when we have a situation like this, getting the observation there, that type of level, seeing some things, you kind of know when you're in a certain spot if a storm's out of the ordinary, and this was starting to get up there, at least with a little bit of what we had there on Sunday night. So again, maybe worse in some cases. All storms are different, of course. All summertime storms are different. So again, let's just go ahead and keep watching this here. We're on live right now to protect you, your friends, and your family. I'm going to go ahead and see what we're getting from some other sources. Let me go ahead and check here. Let me go ahead and check here right now. Again, some nasty weather coming on through. Nasty weather coming on through the area here. As you can hear that thunder rumbling. I mean, that's not a severe indicator or anything like that. This storm may have not had severe properties, but with the trees falling, that would be damaging, which would technically verify a warning that there would have been one, an official warning in play. But again, I'm just trying to give you guys the very latest right now. We generally don't come on when there's not an official warning. I don't like doing this here because that's against our policy, but we were seeing some properties here. I mean, again, to have our second highest gust, whether it's 34 miles an hour or not, and now the report's kind of backing that up here across parts of the county. That this was probably a damaging thunderstorm that ripped on through at least some areas, maybe not really damaging. That's how things work this time of year. But we're in Bradford County, thought we could jump on for this. Again, looking here, road obstruction, 17th Avenue, State Road 16, that was received 8:29, dispatched there 8:31, and then not seeing any others officially right now, but gonna keep checking here. Let me see if there's anything from the city of Starke, or maybe the police department or city government here about this storm coming on through. Let me just keep checking here for the latest. Trying to give you guys all the latest information here on what's going on. Again, no official warning, anything like that. Still lightning in place. You gotta be careful here, obviously. Gotta be careful. That's what it's all about right now. We're looking at some different sources that we have at our disposal here. Again, strong, at least thunderstorm action coming on through. There's a flood advisory now for Alachua County here. They've been getting some heavy rain down there as well. This rain's not letting up in Bradford County though. Let's check our rain gauge. 1.15 inches so far. I mean, that's on top of some rain yesterday and then almost 4 inches on Sunday. So causing some issues here for sure. Again, not officially severe warned, but we were getting some indications this was getting at least close. I mean, maybe not quite getting there here. As we're looking at things, there's still quite a bit of lightning clustered back here behind. I know the winds seemingly in our area have died down some, but just seeing some wind, I know on the front edge is really where we're getting some more of those properties. But as I back that up, we're still getting some around Hampton right now, some stronger winds possible at least. Don't want to let your guard down here as we're looking right now in parts of north central to northeast Florida. It's a storm you don't want to be out in. It doesn't matter if it's strong or severe. Lightning can be very dangerous. I know back there yesterday, I believe it was, media reported lightning damaging, if not destroying a home there at Old Orange Park. That wasn't severe warning. It doesn't have to be severe warning. That's not a severe characteristic here in these type of situations. So, again, just kind of reiterating that as we're looking at our camera. I know, ignore that little red dot in the bottom left, that's just when it gets at night, it picks up on some other light around, and we'll try to take care of that here. But normally don't try to say this to you guys at night, but it's warranted just to see if we can get any more lightning here on this view. So again, having it up, there you go, there's the lightning. That's why we set it to you for a moment. So back to the radar, full we go per se. As you can see here, some heavy downpours in toward parts of Clay County there toward the Camp Landing area. And then again, right there around 100, I bet they're getting some nasty winds, probably get some limbs down at least. We still got a pocket of wind there. Let me see if I can go ahead and I'll go to our other source real quick. I haven't really gone to this one here since we've been on, so let me just do that. Let me go ahead and do that here, and then I'm going to pull up our mouse. Again, we weren't planning to come on unless we had a warning, but then we were just seeing the properties come together here so quickly on our hyperlocal level. It might have just been a hyperlocal level where the properties came together. That's how it happens sometimes this time of year. But again, let's go ahead and see what we're dealing with here. Again, around State Road 100, seeing some stronger winds possibility in there. May have some right in town in Starke as well. I'm going to check the weather stem again. Bradford County Sheriff's Office weather stem. We're not getting much of a gust here right now, though, so let me go ahead and see what we're dealing with. So 15 miles an hour last 10 minutes. So these gusts haven't been as strong as they were earlier on, maybe, but there's still a little bit of strong winds showing up on the radar, so wouldn't want to let our guard down here. You saw how we kind of had, and this pattern right here, I mean, it's about right when it was coming through Starke. I mean, this pattern would show some pretty strong winds likely here at points, and just getting down there. And now we still have a couple different pockets. One is down near southeast of Kingsley, it would look like, and then you see some stuff in Marion. Northern Marion's pretty strong as well. So I'll keep our eyes on that. But again, no official warnings in play. We generally don't come on unless we have official warnings here. But we were seeing some properties that were looking a little more serious, a little more ominous. That's why we decided to jump on again. Watching things here in the weather center. Let me see what type of power outage numbers we're getting now. I'm getting in now. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to some of our other modes here. So 612 customers at least out in Bradford County at this point, and that's not counting the city of Starke. 561 on FP&L and 51 on Clear Electric. So 561 on FP&L, Florida Power and Light, and 51 on Clear Electric. That's quite a bit here in this area. It's a nasty storm that's coming on through, whatever you want to call it here, in this type of pattern. So again, watching things carefully. Let's see if we're getting reports of power maybe being out in the city of Starke to some degree. We're going to check some of our different sources for that. There's not an official map for that or anything like that. But again, let's see here. Let's see what we have. Again, a report of a tree there on State Road 16 right past 19th Avenue, completely blocking the road. Fell right in front of them, Dustin said, and then a report there in the, and it could be the same area, it's kind of being noted here, but okay, we're getting a bunch of different reports now. This is kind of concerning. Okay, so road obstruction, we talked about 17th Avenue and State Road 16. Now, traffic crash, 17th Avenue and State Road 16, that might have been caused by that road obstruction. Gotta be careful out there. Please be careful on the road. This is some dangerous stuff coming on through. Road obstruction, State Road 16, County Road 225. Could be weather related, maybe it's not weather related. And then wire down 61st Avenue in Lodi. And then a report of a brush fire down toward Lodi, Adams Street and Park Street. Could be because of lightning, maybe not. We don't know at this point. So some very inclement weather coming on through, no doubt here. Coming on through, no doubt. So again, let's go ahead, keep looking at things. Keep tracking the situation here. We're at 8:48 right now. Again, several reports of some nasty weather coming on through the area right now. So, gonna keep checking some of our different sources here for the very latest. It's just a one-man band. Trying the best I can here in the weather centers. Again, let's see what we have. Anything new? I don't see anything new right now on one of my sources. But I'm gonna keep checking here. This is an ongoing situation, an evolving situation, so just bear with me here. We're seeing one that we rarely come on for when there's not an official warning. I hate doing this, I really do, because we want to try to just have that delineation between having there's thunder in the background there. I mean, that's not a super property though, but whenever thunder roars, go indoors. But again, that could be the type of lightning there that causes a fire, something like that. But again, I don't like to come on for a situation when not a warning, because then you're kind of making it where everything's kind of a little bit harder to discern if you actually have a more serious situation. But it appears this has been a damaging thunderstorm that's came through Bradford County, so it's important for us to be on, even if really kind of that post here about the strong thunderstorm activity is when things started really evolving, and then we had them become probably what you'd call damaging between that and our actual time of coming on. But then there's now been a report of a traffic crash. So you got to be careful when the and I use this word, I want to use this word carefully, but aftermath of a storm coming through. It's not a hurricane or anything like that, but again, it still has caused some damage, it seems, based on the reports that we're getting in. So again, sitting here right now at 8:50. Sitting here at 8:50 trying to effort the latest information on in here to the weather center. Some very nasty weather, and let's check our rain gauge. Up to 1.52 inches now for the day here. 1.52 inches, and most of that just in the last little bit. coming down pretty quickly, pretty rapidly here. We're just gonna keep sticking with this as I'm looking at a bunch of different sources, so if you see the screen flash or something, I apologize. We just have a bunch up here right now. As soon as we got that observation, we just said, let's go on here in the Weather Center, even though we didn't have an official warning. So just trying to get you guys here the latest, so don't have all my screens quite up in front of me, so everything might be looking fine to you guys. But again, here at 8:51, we're watching this storm and it's come on through here. There's still some wind potential on the backside that could still cause some more issues. Not seeing it on my anemometer though. I mean, seeing 0 and 1 mile per hour there versus the 34-mile-an-hour gust that we had earlier on, which again, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's only measured at about 6 feet off the ground. And I'll have to go through the data, but just I kind of glanced at it a moment ago to check a couple dates there I could remember in particular, and I believe, except for a 41 and I believe 42 mile per hour gust the day of Nicole, there last November, we haven't had a gust higher. Ian gusts were in the 20s there, that level, that lower level. So it's 2 tropical storm force gusts there, and again, it's something that I have to double check, but I believe those are the 2 highest we've had. Now this would be your 3rd highest gust in 2.5 years here. So that kind of puts it into perspective a little bit. So again, all the warnings we've had here, and it's just an anomaly. Other reason we're not getting it like this. But advisory just issued here until 9:45. Until 9:45 here. For parts of Bradford and Union counties. So you can see some of the areas right near the Union Bradford line might be closer to 3 inches in the last hour in that whitest color. They're just east of Rayford. You can see northeast of Sampson there over 2 inches, where we're at. It's about 1 inch and a third here. And we're actually a little over that, 1.5 inch and 1.63 now. So, okay, so that's where we're kind of at now. We're still getting more rain to fall. So with the rain we had Sunday, some rain yesterday, not as much generally. This could cause some urban flooding for sure. We got to be on the lookout for that. Could cause flooding around those more flood-prone spots there, like US 301 and closer to maybe Market Road, somewhere up there where we had flooding issues in the past. I wouldn't be surprised if we're starting to get some reports of that on in now in this type of situation. So again, no official warning here in play, but I'm going to jump on based on some different properties we're seeing with this. Okay, we're now being told of another road obstruction, 8:45. This was received there, Temple Avenue and Herlon Street. So maybe, don't know for sure. Hopefully, it's something minor and not as nasty as a tree down or a power line being down. Maybe it's just a little limb or something like that, and hopefully it's not as bad as it could be. But again, nasty weather coming through right now here. Officially, a significant weather advisory in play here until 9 o'clock. Only moving at 10 miles an hour was that speed there from the Weather Service a little bit ago. Flood advisory, significant weather advisory. Again, generally don't go on unless there's a warning in play. But again, we were seeing some different things that we had to jump in for, unfortunately. So 1.69 inches on that rain gauge here now, 1.69 inches, but again, that's not a severe property. I mean, you can have a lot of rain and that can lead to flash flooding eventually. Same with lightning in terms of that not being a property officially, but then the wind there. I feel like we had, just based on road obstructions, we might have had quite a few trees to fall here. I mean, unfortunately here, it's not a good situation. Not a good situation. We're going to try to effort some more details on things here as we continue along. Seeing anything else here on word of mouth? No, I'm not at this point. We're going to keep checking here. Going to keep checking. Keep checking the dispatch information as well. Some different tools that we can use in this type of situation here to give you guys the latest on what's going on. So 61st Avenue, I mean, we're getting out there a little bit. Excuse me. Again, 61st Avenue, report of a line being down, a wire being down there. And some of those reports, we're getting a few of the reports closer to the state prison area. And then the one there, the fire, there. It looks like, is that a different one now? Okay, there's two different reports of it, so it looks like it's the same one. I just have it in there twice, but then we have quite a few issues right around Starke, it looks like, with road obstructions and the likes. We're following the latest here for you. Staying on with you guys in this type of situation to keep you guys safe and informed. Let's look around the area. I know we have other viewers, and generally we don't want to jump on when we don't actually have a warning. Let's go ahead and see, guys, some stronger winds showing up there north of Eureka in Marion County as well. That accent there, we kind of move it back, maybe trying to get there into Putnam County a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and keep looking over toward Trenton here. Over toward Trenton, you can see a little bit of greens and reds, but wind's not as strong over there. You can see the pretty strong wind pattern up here, honestly, even on the back side. So that's kind of interesting. Not seeing much wind on our anemometer now. This front side of some things came together here in the setup. I think, let me back this up here and I'll kind of show it to you guys. It'd be easier to show it to you while I'm explaining it. So what we had here, we had, as I go back even further, we had some mergers taking place. So, and it's really acting from the north too, and then the west just racing kind of in there on us, and had the wind really come on through here over the last little bit. And again, it seems like we had some damaging weather in some spots, unfortunately. So, let me check the power outage numbers again. We don't have City of Starke, though. That's not going to be in your data set. But everywhere else in the county should pretty much be covered. And we have 1,512 out in the state. And right now, we're down to 95 in Bradford County. So that's good. It's a good sign. Step in the right direction now. 51 on Clay Electric and 44 on FP&L. But there's always a chance that we could have some in the City of Starke that they don't get tracked here, unfortunately. So just continuing to look at our different numbers as they come on in here. We're at 8:58. We may wrap it up pretty soon if we don't get an official warning, but just trying to keep you guys up to date here. Let me see if you guys have any reports. Let me know if you guys have any reports here. If you can safely do it, which right now, if you're on Starke, you probably really couldn't, but if you could safely do it, maybe after the fact, and we would appreciate maybe a picture of some damage if you have it. Send it in to me. I'll try to pass it along to the weather service in Jacksonville, but you gotta safely be able to do it. So again, just continuing to watch things. Continuing to watch things here. Again, still seeing some gusty winds in the region. Not gonna, I mean, you may see something on here, but you're not gonna see much here for long, so I won't keep it up then. Just thought we'd check the camera for a second, but again, winds haven't really picked up much. We're up to almost 2 inches, 1.9 inches of rain here. Pretty much all that in the last hour. I mean, probably a lot of that in the last 40 minutes or so, to be quite honest. So that could cause some issues considering what we had here the other day, with all that rain coming down about twice that much there in a pretty short period of time. I mean, some of that a little bit after that 1 hour period, but checking the latest details here right now. Bunch of reports, just some issues here in Bradford. So let's go over them again. If you're just tuning in, we're getting reports here, and we don't know for sure if these are all weather related, but just based on the history of things, it sounds like they probably are. I mean, the timing, and just so we're seeing here in our system. So at 8:29, a report was received of a road obstruction there, 17th Avenue. State Road 16, about the same time, maybe a little later, a traffic crash, but maybe a tree fell and then it caused a crash. There was also a report of a tree down in the word of mouth group there. Didn't sound like it was too far away, so just maybe kind of overlapping reports, but then a report of a road obstruction there, County Road 225 and 74th Avenue. That was received at 8:40. Another one there at 8:40, State Road 16 and County Road 225. 8:41, a wire down towards Laurie 61st Avenue. A report of a brush fire there, Adams Street and Park Street there at 8:42. And then 8:45, or a road obstruction at Temple Avenue and Harline Street in Starke. So I'm kind of running things down there for now. Let me keep checking some things here. Let me keep checking things here so there's any new updates on what's going on. Just bear with me here. It's a one-man band. So. Okay, so again, I'm seeing some of the worst of this, even though I'm looking at our anemometer as I do this. Velocity's kind of pushing things a little bit further out here, still to the west. The advisory's gone now, and it would seem like the leading edge would have more of that wind push with it, and it probably wouldn't be quite severe in there either. It doesn't look quite as organized as it did. We wouldn't have that sudden emphasis here on the wind. You kind of see how we didn't really have much red there at first, but then, I mean, maybe right there when we had that green right in there, we started to get some to come together around 8:02 even. It's pretty early in the timeline. And then maybe even more so by about 8:10, 8:15. That's when we had some reports of some issues here a little bit later on in the timeline out toward Rayford. And then we pushed this up a little bit here. You see the wind coming on in. And we're going to go ahead and just keep looking at things here. Keep looking at things. Come on in towards Starke there, 8:53. I mean, a lot of that, though, wasn't about necessarily those winds coming together here. Maybe down toward the surface, like when you have the greens and reds. So that's at 8:22 right there, coming right in those greens and reds, per se, the diverging direction there. So maybe getting some stronger wind to come to the surface there, closer to 8:20 to 8:30 through parts of Bradford County there, the eastern part. And then this area here is a little bit less organized with not as much of a push from the heavy rain. It's harder to explain because it's not as well defined, and that's why they didn't issue the warning. They did not issue the warning. They're not the most well defined situation here on Doppler, but again, there was enough there, and then we had our anemometer reading, which again, it's measured at 6 feet, only 34 miles an hour, but that 6 feet measurement really is something that you got to take into account that as you get higher up this road, a lot of the anemometers are when you're looking at official observations. So the wind gets higher as you get further up there off the ground. And this in perspective over the last 2.5 years since we've had it, except for Nicole, we had 2 higher gusts that day. We haven't had, it doesn't seem, even during Ian here, a gust higher than we had here during this strong thunderstorm, probably damaging thunderstorm, but we'll find out here in the later hours with the official reports being correlated and the like. So I think that's going to do it for now. Thanks so much for tuning in and trusting me here through this tricky weather situation. Again, you see still some heavy rain, maybe some gusty winds moving in toward Clay County, some in southern Putnam and northern Marion as well. And you just have to always stay weather aware this time of year. Whenever thunder roars, you want to go indoors. You want to go indoors in this type of situation for sure. So very important thing to keep in mind. That's going to do it for now. Make sure if that water kind of adds up on the roadways here now, to turn around, don't drown, because I know that's a catchy mantra per se, but it really comes into focus when you have those higher water levels on the roads sometimes. You're going to be able to be maybe caught in a situation that's adverse. That's adverse there. And then that could lead to some problems. That could definitely lead to some problems here. Because you're going to be in a scenario there where, especially at night, you're not going to see how deep things are over the road. And again, that can be problematic for you guys because you could maybe catch your car. Could catch your car there, and then you could start to be in a situation here where you have to be rescued later on, which you don't want to be in. So that's going to do it for now. I'll be back with a formal update here later on. Probably have more reports then.